Hello and welcome to Quicktip 60 in this series of tutorials and programs for TradeStation Easy Language. If you're not in the Markplex email list, then please go to markplex.com to join the email list. So in this quick tip, what we're going to be doing is modifying tutorial 48 so that instead of calculating the linear regression of closing price of each bar, we're going to be actually doing the same thing, but we're going to be calculating the linear regression of a whole moving average, which is a smooth moving average. And so let me just explain what I have on the chart at the moment. In terms of studies, I've got the Quicktip itself. I've also got a whole moving average, and I've also got a linear regression line, and I'll talk about that in a minute when we're talking about testing. But Quicktip 60 is based on tutorial 48 and just made a few modifications. And so what we can see here, in fact what I've done is the original tutorial was a show me study, and what I've done is copied most of the code into a indicator. And I've included the whole moving average in the indicator as well as this calculation of the linear regression. So let's just look at the program and I'll just talk you through the various sections of it. So we're calculating this thing over a number of bars, which defaults to 9, and we have a default price of C. We're using that information to calculate the whole moving average using this standard function. And then we've got some testing data, which we'll just skip over for the moment. And then we've got the calculation of the linear regression. And if you want to know more about that, you can look at tutorial 48, because it's essentially exactly the same. But what we've changed in this is, in the original, this would have said close and then the square brackets and so on. What I've done is replaced close with whole moving average, which, as I've just mentioned, we've calculated up here. And that works because in TradeStation, once we calculate a value such as that on every bar, then we can refer to previous bars. And this goes back a number of bars, looking at the values for previous bars. Again, in the next line, what we've done is we've replaced close with the whole moving average, and anywhere that we had close, we've put whole moving average in this program to calculate the linear regression. And then finally, having done that, having calculated the linear regression in terms of the slope M and the y-intercept underscore C, we can then draw a line using the tlnew function, which is date time value to date time value. And you can see what we've done is we've gone from M plus C and to numbars M plus C. And then we've also changed the color, the thickness and the pattern of the line. Now, one of the things we need to do is to calculate, or to rather make sure that this is working as intended. So what I've done a couple of things to check that. One of which is I've also applied to the chart, as you saw, the study, which is the standard linear regression line program in TradeStation. But what I've done in the price section, rather than putting in C, as you might normally do if you were calculating this for the closing price, what I've put in is HMA, which is the whole moving average, and I've put in the values C and 9. So what that's going to do is it's going to calculate exactly the same whole moving average. And then if you look very, very carefully, you can see that line behind one of the dotted lines that I've created. The other thing that I did was I built in, as you probably noticed, some syntax for programming. And what I did at 12 o'clock and at the end of the bar, I went back and I printed the 9 most recent values of the whole moving average. in other words going from 0 to 8, so that would be whole moving average for the bar that's just finishing, the one before that, the one before that, the one before that, etc. And I also printed what this program calculated for the M value and the C, y-intercept value. And I said at 12 o'clock, the end of the bar, then print those values. So I printed those values and I got, just close this, the values that you can see here on the print log, and then and these values of M and C underscore C. What I did, I calculated the values for the whole moving average, and I copied them into my spreadsheet, which is LibreOffice, which also has built into it some functions to calculate slope and intercept. And so you can see with these values and value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then the values came out at 0.2, then the values came out as 0.2588. Just go down a little bit here. 0.2588, that matches, and also 4499.5661, so those values match. Anyway, hopefully you will find this useful. Thank you.